I love you too.
Aww. So sweet.
Gotta let him have a minute first. Are those for me? Come here, let me get those.
Aww. No jumping.
No jumping, Scott.
Yeah, I'll sign it. Yeah. You know, this is not a part of the show. You have a marker in here? I do. Oh, nice. You got different colors. Hold on. I'll do the black. I hope you guys don't mind me doing this.
Please.
Go for it.
I just saw him, and he's in my brand, Members of the Rage. I see he's repping.
Woo!
So, but how you guys feel? You guys all right? I'm sorry, this is time consuming. You have every album of mine. Hold on. No, I'm gonna sign them all real quick. But sorry, Karina.
No, please. I'm seeing some Intergalactic in there. Woohoo! Took a year and you got both. Well done.
Here you go. I just signed these. Yeah, take it. No, you just said. Turn around. Yeah. That could work. Got it? Thank you so much. Oh, this is so sweet. I get flowers. This is so sweet. You guys are too much. I got flowers. I love you too, man. Okay, I guess we can start.
We should start. So welcome to our conversation on Moon Man. First things first is we want to catch you up on what Moon Man is all about. It is an ongoing superhero comic book about Ramon Townsend, who's an astronaut from Cleveland, who, while piloting a rocket ship to the moon, ends up experiencing cosmic disturbance and reintegrates onto Earth to find that he has gravitational powers. Issue 4 is out now.
That was great. I love that.
I know our story. So first, I'd love to start asking questions of these panelists, which you guys will enjoy. And I have to start with Scott, because last time we were at New York Comic Con, issue 1 of the book hadn't come out yet. So now we've got 4 issues out. How are you feeling having this book be a real life book?
Man, it's kind of crazy. With any new thing, you never really know how it's gonna pan out, especially when you're, trying a whole new career. Just seeing the response for the past 4 issues has been incredible. To see the support, to just know, because at first it was like you don't really know. Like before that first Comic-Con last year, it was like who came to that?
Welcome back.
So like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Before I got to Comic-Con that day, I was like, is there gonna be people there? And if they are there, are they just gonna be like, what's this motherfucker making comics for? Like, you know what I mean? So I didn't know what I was walking into. So like, it's so funny. I walk in and I just hear, got it. And I was like, oh shit, it's like a show in here. This is crazy. So like, I just want to thank you guys for your love and support on this project of mine. This is really a passion project. So just thank you so much for being here, man, for real. But it's been wild to just see like, even when we do the signings, seeing people show up, and I'm talking to kids all the time on Twitter. That's my thing. So shout out to everybody that talks to me on Twitter. And the response is just always positive. So
Oh, it's beautiful. And for those who were here last year, you probably caught a glimpse of Scott and Kyle's bromance. So I have to pivot to Kyle.
We had to put Marco in between us this year. For...
we had to have a separation.
Yeah, because I can't keep my hands off him, you know. But now Marco's gonna get it.
Ow, ow.
By the way, this is Marco's not only first time in the United States, it's his first comic convention ever.
Yeah, it's my first things ever for everything, and I'm kind of stressed a little bit.
Don't be stressed. Don't be stressed. You see, it's easy. You guys are. This is family. This is all love in here.
Thank you so much, guys.
So now we're starting to experience the trio bromance, and with that, I'll ask Kyle, what was it like working with Scott and Marco?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, I've been making comic books like full time for well over a decade at this point, and you know, you put everything you have into every project that you do. But it's when certain projects come up, you can tell the longer you do this, like, ooh, that might be something really special. And sometimes they're not, but this one in particular, from the jump, when we've all first started talking to what it has become, I'm like thrilled to say it is above and beyond like my wildest expectations. And you know, doing things the right way is a big thing for me as a creator, and especially a comic book writer and creator. And like Scott from day one has come into this and wanted to do it the right way. He wanted to build out a book that wanted to take swings and do something new. And wanted it to be a really good book, which I know that should go without saying, but sometimes that's not the case. And so, you know, we have been working on this for 3 years at this point, maybe, something like that.
Yeah, about 3 years.
Yeah, and so when Scott talks about being a fan of comics, like, it's very genuine. And, you know, we landed on, we found Marco to bring the illustrations to life and Moon Man to life. Really through, I mean, it's your love of Rob Schrab and Scud, and how Marco's art evokes some of that as well. Yeah. And that's a little bit of a deep cut, you know, comic book wise. So it's it's a very creatively rewarding experience, and a very professionally and personally rewarding experience as well.
I love that. And I want to ask Marco, I'm going to have to flatter him for a moment, because what you see, and you probably can hear it in his accent, but when you're looking at Moon Man, he so beautifully captures both the cosmic, space, all of these wild things of, you know, what our wildest dreams would be if we could reach the final frontier individually. And yet you also get this true Cleveland physicality, style, experience. So to hear that you're from Italy, yet you capture Americana so well is a bit baffling. I'd love to kind of ask you about your art, and also specifically if you have a favorite character to draw.
Okay, let's begin. I can say certainly that my superpower is internet, and my superpower is also in Italy. We love Americans so much. So I grew up watching movies, series from here. So I just know America, even if I can be here. And that's even, this is my first time. I walk outside and just like, oh, I am home. I'm at home. I can see everything, every spot from a lot of city that I see on the movies, on the series. So yeah, that's why I came. I can to translate my art to Italy and to American without lost something and without seems too much for a foreign view. So yeah, even the things that bug me so much and I want to give perfectly was the definition of the trait of a black American, and I saw a lot of time, maybe Italian or even see so much the small detail, even the air, even the how the nose say on the face between. There are a lot of difference between a Caucasian face. So I want to be certain that I speak to all of them, all of the people, but in particularly to the Black American. And I want to get that feel even if I'm Italian. So yeah.
Fire.
Thank you.
So with that in mind, does that mean Ramon is your favorite character to draw?
Oh,
or
okay,
is
yeah.
No, please.
No, no, wait, sorry. Yes, certainly he is my favorite character. Yeah, I know it's but I also love the girl.
Yeah.
Alison.
Addison?
Oh, Addison. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I always forgot the name in everything, even in my life. So yeah, you can understand my personal life is really strange.
He just calls everyone in his life Scott or Kyle. That's basically it.
No, really, I always talk to people. Hey man, and I got problem.
Amazing. Scott, I wanted to ask you, just having worked with you for so long, what was really special for me to see has been Moon Man has been so inspired from your music, but now Moon Man is inspiring you to create new music. So even most recently, you and Chip were in New York shooting a music video for the third track of the soundtrack of Moon Man. What has it been like, and kind of how has Moon Man inspired these new tracks?
Well, it's been great. It's really how I decide the songs is I try to find a pocket of, past energy. I noticed a lot of the feedback for this last song is that people were like, "Yo, this sounds like Man on the Moon. This is so fire." And I think that, as I've been doing these songs, because every month I'm looking for a new song, recording something, doing something original just for this project. And it's been great to just like go back to just, it's like, it's no pressure, because it's not like, oh, this is like the album that's coming out in 5 months and I gotta have the first single and I gotta have the second single. It's like, it's very laid back, there's no pressure. I have like a whole year to do it, and I'm taking my time between songs, and I just love to be able to kind of like bring the essence of the Moon Man shit that's in the music to life through this comic, and how I choose songs is this last song, for example, Don't Worry, was a record that I did for Man on the Moon 3 that we didn't use. So I thought that would have been perfect for this, because first off, the song was phenomenal. I don't know why I didn't use it. I think at that time I had like way too many songs, and I had to like make the tough choices, because Man on the Moon 3 has so many good songs. So that's how that happened. But it's really, whether I'm sitting there recording something new, or if I find something from the past, because just the other day I was looking up some stuff in my old hard drives and I found like hundreds of indica beats, that I feel like I gotta touch and put out to the world, you know what I mean? Like y'all gotta hear. And it was really great. It was like a time capsule to be able to hear these records, and I remember I was asking my engineer, I was like, I made this? For real? I did them drums? Word? I just haven't produced like that in years. Like, I'm just kind of getting back into it, but I'm a little rusty, and just hearing those records just inspired me. So you guys will be getting some of those on this album as well, on the Moon Man soundtrack.
So I've got a question for all three of you. Specifically to know your favorite panel or page from the comic. I'll give you guys a chance to think, because I'll tell you mine first. For me, the moment that encapsulated what Moon Man is and stands for was when you see Ramon at the protest and you get that first look of his powers. And Marco, you drew it so beautifully, and then Igor Monti came in with that yellow, blue, orange lines and streams around him that were indicative of what his power meant. And to me, I was like, that is Scott. It was so bright and vivid. It reminds me of the Man on the Moon cover. It was so beautiful. So that to me is what Moon Man is represented by. I'm curious to hear from the three of you.
Man, I think my favorite panel isn't out yet.
Tease.
So we won't say too much, but I'll say my second one, because my favorite one is coming up soon in issue 5. Yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about.
I think I do too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So really excited about that. Yeah. But I would say my second favorite panel would have to be the intro when he comes to save Micah at the protest. That's definitely, I remember when I saw that page for the first time, I was like, well, damn, here's Moon Man. So, yeah.
That's my favorite as well. I'll give a different answer to keep it a little fresher. But before we move on from that, just some context for everybody. So that shot, how many people have read Moon Man so far? Issue 1, yeah? All right, and those of you that haven't, don't worry. A little later in the panel, we're going to be talking about the best way to get the book, and we have a really exciting new collection about to come out. That's going to make it. It's a perfect way to jump on to get caught up and see all this awesomeness. That first shot was originally a single page. It was a single image. And Marco messaged me, and he was like, man, is there any way we can add more pages to this issue? Because I envision this in this big, wide-screen format. And as Karina's talking about with the colors, it's like the cosmic and the surreal and the existential all coming into the real world, which to me is your music brought to life, And that became the visual identity of Moon Man. And as he's manipulating gravity and warping gravities, he's also tapping into something otherworldly, something existential, something that is really like the fabric of our reality and the cosmos itself. And so that's why that image for me was such a first powerful mission statement. And I'd say my second favorite image is also in issue 5, and it's the last page of the book. And once again, it was a brilliant suggestion from Marco, and it brings in surrealism in such a bold visual way that it ends up as a mission statement for what the book is going to become.
Yes. Okay, it's my time. I want to give notice about what they say now, the power. There is a main problem with me with the power, and I always tell I was sad when we have to make something like what the power feels, what the power that really warped gravity. I don't know. And at a certain point, when One Piece came out with the power, I don't know if you use
Any One Piece fans here?
Exactly. Okay.
Me too.
The last transformation of Luffy got me in my head, and I say, yeah, maybe that's the spot that left me and my imagination and my creativity to link the things, to link the music and the love that I see the people do for Scott. And I want to insert that kind of rage and emotional and all that stuff. And yeah, that's the link that I found in the last issue. I know, I take a long time. Yeah, for issue, but okay. My favorite panel is not a panel, it's a cover, and it's the fourth one, because I want to feel the people the power of emotion. Sometimes there are only the power of angry, the power of something that really don't change things, but the music change things, what he sing and change things. So I want to bring all of that in that kind of punch. Yeah, that's my favorite cover.
I love this. So we've been alluding a lot to issue number 5, which I'm happy to share is actually coming out next week. So all that we're talking about, you're going to get to see very soon. I'd love to know, I know we were talking a lot about this last page. Kyle, is there anything else we can tease?
Yeah. Part of the kind of promise or the premise of this book when we started it was to explore a superhero story in a new way. And one of the things that's really fantastic about building an original superhero, a truly creator-owned series, is that you can do anything. There's no... in comics, there's this phrase about the illusion of change that applies to Marvel and DC quite a bit. And what it means is that no matter how much the characters of the stories change, they never actually do. It's more an illusion because the characters can't ever really grow up. They can't ever really evolve. How many times have you seen a character die in a Marvel comic or a movie and then they get brought back? That's the illusion of change. With something like Moon Man, that's not the case. When characters die, when events happen, there are repercussions. We have this kind of edict about the book, since all the powers come from some sort of cosmic event, and they are more kind of physics-based, the idea is that as he's manipulating gravity, right, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And without spoiling issue 5 coming up, there are some things that happen based on the choices that Ramon makes in the story for his family, for his own beliefs, and for what he thinks or comes to realize he can represent and be for the world with these abilities that are still growing and evolving. And that sparks change. But now the world's going to react. And we're going to explore in the next arc what that reaction looks like, how they're going to respond to him, and ultimately, if you introduce power into the world, how does power change the world as a result? That can be good and bad. And as we move forward here, I think the stakes, the responsibilities, and the potential for what that's going to mean both for Ramon as well as the larger society in this story about, mega corporations that are owning and controlling everything just for the sake of power and owning and being able to own and control. And what happens when you say that's enough is enough and we're not doing that anymore? How do those places react? What are the threats that come out of that? And what does society think about a man who can actually manipulate gravity and wants to make things better for all of us?
Amazing.
But more specifically,
go ahead.
So issue 6 kicks off our next arc. It's going to be coming out in December, right after a big collected edition in November we're going to get to in a second here that collects issues 1 through 5, the first full story arc. Issue 6 kicks off going backwards a little bit. For those that have read issue 1 or any of the issues so far, you'll know the powers so far come from this event. As Ramon is piloting this crew to be the first people to walk on the moon in the last 50 years, something happened, and they went off course, or maybe they didn't. But there's 7 minutes missing, and there are no catalogs, there are no flight data on those 7 minutes, and our characters don't remember those 7 minutes either. But in those 7 minutes, that's when Ramon, Buckley, Addison and Glenn's lives changed forever. That's where Ramon's powers came from, where Addison's powers came from, where Glenn's powers came from. So what did that mission look like? And why was Ramon on it? How did he get to that point where he leaves NASA an entity that is about discovery and pushing forward for the betterment of all of us and the sake of discovery, to work for a private company in private spaceflight. What happened in his life and his family's life that would put him on that course? And how does that all interact with the missing 7 minutes and the existential connection that is giving him these abilities and sparking him to become better? We're going to be exploring that in issue 6 and 7 in a story set as a flashback. And I don't know if that art is up on the screen. Can we throw this art up here? So we're showing this. I think this might be the first time we're showing this, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
So Scott, who did this cover and what's the connection?
So this cover is very special because one of my favorite comics when I was a kid was Scud the Disposable Assassin. And I'd say about 8 years ago or 7 years ago, I was on Twitter one day and I was like, man, let me see if Rob Schraub is on Twitter. He's the writer and creator of Scud the Disposable Assassin. And I found him on Twitter, tweeted at him, and we became really good friends. And over the years, we stayed in touch, and I was always trying to work with him on something. And me and Kyle were just talking about, ideas for the covers. And he was like, what do you think about Rob doing something? And I was like, ooh, that's tasty. So I asked Rob, and he was down, and he gave us this phenomenal cover. It's my favorite one so far. We've done some really amazing covers, but this is literally just because it means so much to me, because this is like my childhood, hero in comics doing my cover for my comic. You know what I mean? So it's this one, I want to get them all framed. And this one especially has to have a really gold, Baroque frame, something really special, because this is just the dopest of the dopest from my favorite comic book artist.
So as we dive into Ramon's origins, we thought it would be really fitting to reveal and use this cover from really Scott's origins and for his love of comics. And so that'll be the cover for issue number 7. Oh, you haven't seen that one yet.
Oh.
No. That's a new piece that you guys, it is up on screen. That's a new piece that Marco just drew for New York Comic Con.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow, that's my first time seeing it. It's dope. Yeah.
So we can walk you through all of the really exciting dates coming up too across these issues. So as you can see up here, issue number 5, which ends our first arc of Moon Man, is going to be in stores October 23rd. That's next Wednesday. Then, Then we've got volume number 1, which encompasses issues number 1 through 5. So again, that first arc, which is going to be in stores November 27th. Also available for pre-order anywhere your comics or books are sold, so feel free to start pre-ordering from now.
Yeah, and we put up a QR code here. This will take you to the book listing through Simon & Schuster, and it gives you a bunch of different purchase options: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, local bookstores, wherever you want to pick up, the books from. The really, really cool thing about this collection is that it collects issues 1 through 5. It's priced super affordably. It's $9.99. This is designed for everyone to get caught up. So you go grab this book, you'll be caught up on the entire story thus far for issues 1 through 5. We're also, we kind of pulled out all the stops on this collection as well, if I'm being honest. So Marco, Igor, and I went back in and we punched up a few pages color-wise. This is I don't want to call it the remastered version of the issues, but it's definitely it's the best version of the story thus far. And we're also printing that cover with this gorgeous spot gloss treatment and with this orange Pantone. That orange you see on the screen is going to be explosive on the book when you get it from your favorite bookstore of choice.
And then to share, the first 3 tracks of the soundtrack to Moon Man are also available to stream anywhere you stream music. And more to come there, too.
Oh, yeah, I got some more shit brewing, baby. Yeah! I love you, too.
And finally, issue number 6, which starts this origin story arc over issues 6 and 7, which also includes guest artist Federico Bertoni, is going to be out December 18th. So as soon as you catch up on volume 1, you'll be able to catch issue number 6.
And the best way to get the comics, the monthly comics, for those of you that don't know, your local comic book store, it's there. Yes, please, more cheers for local comic book stores. Think of your local comic book store as it's a small independent business that is just in the business of bringing you the good shit every single month. So if you like the book, if you want to read it monthly, go find your local comic book store. Order the book through them. Usually they have a pull list, so they'll pull the book for you. They'll order it for you every single month. It'll be there for you every month. That's also how they know that people are interested in the book. So like, we can't encourage you enough. Find your local comic store. If you go to moonmancomic.com, there's a link there to an app so you can find a local comic store if you don't have one. You can also order the issues online, of course. But as we kick off Arc 2 with issue 6, we want this book to last. How long do we want this book to last, Scott?
Forever.
So get your orders in, please. Find your local comic store, pre-order it there. You got
Can I
something?
say one thing?
Yeah.
Don't give your money to Janus. And maybe you understand if you read the comic book. Don't give the money to Janus.
To who? To who?
Janus. It's the right.
Oh, Janus. Yeah.
Janus, yeah.
Don't give your money to the mega corporations. Yeah, that's Shop Indie. Shop Indie.
We love to leave you with the moral. It's perfectly said. That was our panel. We can't thank you guys enough for being here with us. Thank you all for coming.